artist SEAK Claus Winkler. This video is an art performance as well as a piece of art itself and part of my long-term, lifelong art performance, lots of art performance. The German word for art is Kunst, K-U-N-S-T. And if you want to understand my work, I take things literally. It seems like that. If I reverse engineer and pattern deduct or pattern recognize how I'm steered, this building here, which my grandparents built after they were refugees from East Prussia after World War II, I have my first childhood memories here. My other part of my family moved to this area in the 1920s. But my father and my mother met in the late 50s, beginning 60s, something like that. Anyway, the point is, I can reverse engineer my work and my inspiration or what I was interested in to basic essential forms connected here with the house and with the area. This could be like a video on its own. What I'm showing you here, or what you're seeing here, are the classical forms which are in my artistic oeuvre. My artist name is SEAK, S-E-A-K, because I became, when I was 8 years, like when I was very young, I saw the first graffitis here in Germany, which I then later saw also some of them in an American book, which the author I met when I was exhibiting in Oakland, in the Bay Area, in the beginning of 2000s. And that book I read in the late 80s. And the art I saw here, a few villages further, was one of the first graffiti spray painted in Germany by Kingpin when I was with my mom, when I was a child going to Brühl for shopping for shoes, because they were cheaper there. And he did like a large spider there in a tunnel, and I was fascinated by that. And then I saw another like graffiti on a train a few years later, which I guess was by one of the first other old school graffiti artists. And then I saw, became aware of the book Spray Can Art and Subway Art. And then, and when I was on student exchange in the USA in the 90s, I was harassing my guest parents into looking with me for books, for further books about graffiti, as well as books about the American Civil War, because I was also obsessed with history and the past and tradition, and of course the Confederacy, but also the Union, but politically I'm more Confederacy. I also had a badge from the CSA on my jacket when I was here in Germany. So I have like both. I like this like modernist, futurist, modern art aesthetic, as well as those scale model, technical, machismo, masculine aesthetics, like art. I mean, I can also like traditional art, but I also like, I like tradition and history and anything pro-white in terms of, evil, the story. And I saw always the USA, culturally, of course, huge inspiration also from the movies, but I also reckon that they are somehow controlled, and whites must wake up. And then I wasn't fully woken up to who's steering the USA, but this is not the meaning of this video. And this video is here to show you my art. Due censorship or anti-white censorship, I lost a lot of content online. So you have to do on your own some research, looking for my work. You can look up my graffiti name and variants, also my regular name. You can double check graffiti books on graffiti magazines, on publications, newspaper, archives. I should maybe, when at a later stage, I will also have a website again, and then I will probably publish all this again. Yeah, rebuild. My focus is here on the paintings. That's the problem with the internet. It takes up so much energy and focus. I had the honor to be invited to lots of countries. So far, it's around 28, more or less. For painting, for exhibiting. For me, it's very unusual that I'm somewhere and I'm not painting. The last 25 years, I was living here in the studio painting. I have a special system on painting on rotation. This allows me to also listen to lots of audio content and self-educate myself. I was always trying to nudge good knowledge of truth. Long before that, there was a term called red pill. It started with me sharing work around the POA movement in the beginning of 2000s. Before there was mystery and with the game book and stuff. I also had a MySpace account with 10, 12, 13, 14,000 followers. This is a SEAK style, by the way. S, an E, a large E, a capital E, and then a small a with a hole, lower bow, upper bow, and here's the K. It's all work in progress what I'm showing here. The stuff looks already finished and ready, and you can judge it or anything, but consider it's work in progress. And my ego thought already 10 years ago that the work is finished and ready, but that was just the ego with its investments and ego bubbles and growth, constant growth. So I'm painting. This is a small a. I mean, it's like a small a, like from a grammatical point of view, as well as it's small painted, because for me it's it's normal like to paint something like this on the full height or even larger, I'm using the mix of spray can and brush and marker and everything for practical reasons, and I would integrate everything else too. This is painted here over glass, and behind the glass is work on paper with oil, mixed media. I have lots of different personas or mindsets within me. Why I'm painting, how I'm painting, with what mindset I'm painting. This depends on also what music I'm hearing, what I'm nudged to, what kind of phase I am, what my focus is, my level of being awake. The clothes, the music, the audiobook, the technique, anything. One of my skills is talking. I can talk for hours, which is also a weakness if you talk too much. And I speak German and English. So, all these styles, now this is like my SEAK style, It's like graffiti lingo in a way, A style is like how you paint your letters or design your letters. Also the technique in which you're doing it. But a style can also be like the letters, like in my case it's SEAK put together, like here. It's like the S. It's like very confusing. I will sculpt this out of this chaos. Then there the E, then there the A, and then here the K. And here's another S. And this is what's typical for me is that I'm painting my paintings from two sides. That's what which happened out of practical efficiency reasons, lack of resources, willing to deliver, because I'm, like every other artist, I'm painting against the Moloch art market, like an industry which simulates realness with large studios. And so I thought, okay, I'm doing it with honest, doing it myself work, which is of course pretty naive, considering that in the art world, everything is already decided up front who's winning. But I think I told that already in another video. But you can say, you can call it what you want, di-la-di-da-di-da. At the end of the day, I'm painting or like showing my work or making videos like this. And this is also part of my reflection, learning, growth. For example, I just put them like now in this room. So I'm learning something. Plus, I'm a little bit overweight. So it's a few extra steps I can do. Plus, it has an effect on my psyche, my well-being, and when you not have money for consuming, just have resources for painting, it forces you out of materialism into being conscious and aware, also of the sublime. But that comes in glimpses, I think that's steered by my name. I'm just always getting like a little bit of consciousness. It doesn't come, or this like sublime, recognizing the sublime and the patterns. I would probably like it or appreciate it if it would be like more intense or more often, but it's the SEAK Claus Winkler is keeping it, it's light-footed in a way. My sensor is protecting everything in a way, the sensor in my brain. Not the political sensor or anything, but the sensor of recognizing things. It's also a form of escapism, escaping from getting replaced. And it's an option to, if shit hits the fan further, because, then I can become a refugee on my own again and migrate to a more wider area where I would like to support with my work the local economy, because here in Germany they're using, the story. So these are all SEAK styles, SEAK. These are all work in progress. I have to remind yourself. This means they can develop in any direction. As a general rule, I'm trying to make the layers below still visible. And yes, I can also sometimes think it's a good idea to transform a painting into something like this, which is more, oh, this is nice, cute, la-di-da, like different personalities. If I would have the time, I would work my style or would work in all kinds of directions and aesthetics. The thing is just that I'm also responsible for taking my classical style up to the highest echelon of painting. At least on that I'm halfway happy with it. And I'm never happy, because it's like perfectionist, I don't know. So it's too less time. Just one life for painting. Like pencil layers inside, like crazy details. It's just what's my reputation? And also no hardships. I know to live for a few years with like $15 to $50 a month for food, which means you eat like potatoes, butter, eggs, and carrots, because they're the cheapest. And then you play with eating potatoes raw, because then the stomach is longer busy, though it's super unhealthy. And I have also photos to prove it, including food bank, EBT card. Yeah, so while enjoying worldwide niche fame or legend or infamous status. In graffiti, my value or my historic value is not so much an illegal graffiti writer, like a bomber or tagger, more like I'm known for my styles and for innovative and like reaching new heights in creativity and style and aesthetic and breaking taboos. And that's the big thing with me, and new technique and everything, combining it with and like for years on Wikipedia and stuff, they were like writing like also like some kind of like belittling stuff out of jealousy. So my name also triggers jealousy, because it triggers so much energy and power from the sound, not just the letters or anything, but just the sound and the letters from the name, that it also empowers people who then are against myself. So this is like the curse when you give people energy. And I have to admit that I also am guilty of that. It's not that I'm like the enlightened person who knows everything better and I'm above certain things. Myself also jumping into that pattern. That's part of being human. But I'm trying to, or trying is victim language, but just fill it up with your own words. Maybe I'm painting my paintings here also in different directions. And my aim is to try and make my paintings, I don't know if it's be subtle or blatant, into painting which program white people to have more children, because we're at the brink of extinction. We are an 8% minority worldwide, or 7%, with 2% of white women in fertile age. So, that's the thing. And one word of advice, if you see my work, and the liberal, anti-white, NPC, Moloch mindset uses often the word radical or extreme. I already told this AI a couple of times to use another word, because those words are from the CIA / earlier, but from before that, they came from the Bolsheviks, and they killed like 60 million people in Russia, and the Bolsheviks weren't even Russian, they were in majority to 85% other people. The point is, they use these words to minimize, limit the clarity and the self-preservation powers or energy from the Russians. So AI came up with the word clarity, or Klarheit, being clear, which also is in my name, SEAK Claus Winkler. And this gives the thing a whole other context. So my work, let's say my work for a graffiti writer in the 1990s or 1980s would be considered radical. Especially these days when you're awake, people are trying to frame you. So not try, because this is already victim language and I'm infantilizing you. Use the word clarity. If you use the words of the people who want to get rid of you and minimize get you off the DNA map, stop using their words. So, and with this lens, you can also see my work. Or I can use other words, but this is just an advice which I want to give you. So all these paintings have, most of the forms you see here are the letter A, the letter E, the letter S, or the letter K. I should paint more Ks as well as more large As. That's something, or like I have different things I want to do. So, and I'm painting my paintings in rotation, which allows me to listen to audiobooks and then to get to enrich myself with knowledge, because then I'm kind of work on a low frequency, on a repetitive pattern, and then also have energy and focus for things I'm hearing while I'm painting. But sometimes I'm switching the pattern because then the paintings need like full attention. Yeah, so I've just had some noodles. First noodles in like maybe one time a week. I'm eating sometimes noodles. I'm in the process of losing weight and becoming. My aim is to get lighter, the natural way, of course, because I still want to have lots of babies, children, father children. So, yeah. These runes I've integrated here are new. I already painted runes in my signature in 2000, around 2000. Before that, in parts, in my school year when I was like 13 or 14. But then Anyway, so let's see how my paintings are developing. They're all painted from two sides. These are just a few paintings. And they're waiting for billionaires and multi-millionaires and ultra net worth individuals from all around the world to get bored. My days look like painting, living on Telegram and YouTube. Doing sports, like spending time in nature. On painting and avoiding modernity. I would paint my paintings by myself, and there's lots of colleagues of mine who have worked as helpers in large studios. Some who told me then years ago, or people who then hire their own helpers, who have their paintings or anything. I'm doing the work myself, which is also good to humble the ego. Because when you're painting, when you're an artist, you play always with fire regarding ego. And you're affected by it from the colors, from the forms, the connotations. Ego then, if you have a little success, gives you direct credit and grandiosity, which is like the irrational, which usually then is dangerous because it kind of like gives you a hard landing. But without ego, you need some ego, of course, too. So if you give me money or buy my work, please consider that I will donate some of my money or reinvest some of the money to pro-white or pro-German, pro-European activist organizations, book publishers or mail orders, companies, firms, in the Anglosphere as well as in Germany and Europe. So thank you for your attention.